I found Alex frozen like a small statue this morning, slumped over his desk as if gravity had a personal vendetta against him. He blinked, made a noise that could only be described as chair complaint, and asked whether computers were supposed to hum sympathy into your spine. I told him with the full authority of someone who's watched too many 6 a.m. stretching videos that we were about to play chiropractor meets stand-up comedy. I walked him through the official diagnosis: chronic desk slouchitis, highly contagious among people who have just one more email as a life motto. Alex protested that his spine was merely resting elegantly while his shoulders filed a formal complaint. I did my best doctorly impersonation and declared we needed 10 tiny movements administered like microdoses of mobility to unfreeze his human pretzel. I promised Alex 10 micro moves that would take less time than making a decent cup of tea, but somehow feel like a mini vacation for stiff joints, and he immediately asked if they came with snacks. Spoiler, they do not come with snacks, but they do come with the sweet aftertaste of being able to reach the top shelf again without dramatic background music. He agreed, partly because he wanted to reach the top shelf and partly because I bribed him with the promise of 0 burpees. I explained how micro-workouts are not a gym membership masquerading as a kindness. They're tiny, strategic moves you can do without standing in front of mirrors and pretending you know what you're doing. Alex asked whether we should wear matching headbands for morale. I said no, but a posture reminder note stuck to the monitor was acceptable. We agreed. Pockets of movement sprinkled through the day, like tiny confetti pieces of mobility. Before any movement, I make Alex take a moment to breathe like a person who remembers they have lungs. Slow inhale, longer exhale, because oxygen is unfairly underrated as a mobility tool. He tried to overcomplicate the breath with counting and jazz hands, so I gently reminded him that this was not a Broadway audition. The goal: clear head, calm shoulders, the optimism of someone who believes their chair won't betray them for 5 minutes. I told Alex to drop his chin like he was reading a secret note and slowly roll the neck. Gentle, polite, no dramatic turtling allowed, because the neck is an emotional hoarder of tension. He made a suspicious humming noise as if the roll might require a permission slip, but after one set, he looked 10% taller and 60% less like a question mark. We did 3 slow rolls each direction, which is surprisingly glamorous when you commit to it. Next up, shoulder shrugs and gentle circles, 2 moves that say, "I'm back in my shoulders" without being melodramatic about it. I coached Alex. Lift both shoulders like you're shrugging at bad Wi-Fi, hold, then release into playful circles, and before he overcomplicated things, I reminded him motion is the point, not auditioning for a dance-off. After 10 slow shrugs and a few circles, his shoulders were noticeably happier and less like clamped suitcases. I always include wrist and finger mobility because if you type emails like a gladiator, your wrists deserve a medal, or at least a little TLC. Alex stretched each finger and made little windmill wrist circles while making a sound that could be described as cat contemplating a keyboard, which I decided was wholesome. 5 seconds per finger, slow wrist rolls, and then a pretend high five to celebrate small victories. He liked the pretend high five a lot. I had Alex sit tall, interlace fingers behind his head like he was plotting a world-class nap, then draw the elbows back to open the chest. Instant, I can see my future posture. He complained dramatically about feeling like a superhero in a budget film, and I agreed that $10 of special effects would do wonders. 2 sets of gentle holds, and he was breathing deeper and looking less like a folded map. No weights? No problem. I had Alex use his desk as an anchor for a gentle pressing motion, palms pushing the desktop as if to say, "Not today, slouch." he pretended to be dramatic, pushing like he was trying to move the desk to Hawaii, but the movement subtly strengthened his mid-back and reminded his posture muscles that they existed. Tiny presses, short holds, and a quiet exchange of respect between Alex and his desk. Later, we moved on. Then, I taught Alex a seated row without equipment, elbows squeezed back like he was trying to clap his shoulder blades together for applause, and let me tell you, his shoulder blades were very appreciative. He commented that he felt 50% like a retired pirate and 50% like a better version of himself. I took that as progress. A few controlled reps reminded his upper back muscles. They had jobs other than supporting coffee mugs. I guided Alex through a seated cat-cow, arched the back like a surprised cat, then dip the belly and lift the chest like a content cow. Yes, that sentence will haunt you, but it's effective. He made cow noises for half a second, which we both agreed added dramatic flair but no technical benefit, so 2 rounds of slow, exaggerated movement was enough. This micro-flow lubricates the spine and makes email-induced rigidity feel like a distant memory. For a gentle twist, I told Alex to sit tall and rotate his torso toward the chair back, as if to look at something hilarious behind him. Humor always helps with compliance. He tried an overly enthusiastic twist that ended in a comedic squeak, so I dialed it back to slow, supported rotation with a deep breath each time. 3 gentle holds per side, and his midline finally remembered it enjoyed moving as much as his keyboard mashing fingers do. I slipped in a bonus micro move, the glute squeeze, because nobody tells your glutes they're important until you ask them to stop being shy. Alex pressed his heels into the floor and squeezed like he was trying to crack a walnut with his butt, then relaxed, and I applauded with one of my finest silent nods. 10 squeezes a day, and you keep your hips happier than a dog with a tennis ball. We started lower body work with ankle rolls, those tiny circles that keep your sneakers from staging a rebellion under the desk, and Alex turned them into a delicate arts and crafts performance, which was adorable. I coached him through slow rotations both ways, and he commented that his ankles had been living like static sculptures for years. After a few clockwise and counterclockwise sets, circulation got a pep talk and responded cheerfully. For move 10, I gave Alex 2 options: discrete heel raises for a stealth circulation boost, or a quick mini squat at the desk if he was feeling bold. Both count as tiny, mighty wins. He tried the heel raises first, wobbling like a marionette, then bravely tried a chair-assisted mini squat and discovered lower body power he forgot he had. 10 gentle reps of either, and Alex felt proud enough to raise his eyebrows, which is an advanced facial mobility skill. I taught Alex a little combo: ankle rolls into heel raises into a single mini squat, like a short song your legs can hum between emails, and he called it the leg shimmy of productivities. He practiced twice, looking like a mildly coordinated inventor, and each time he completed the combo, his emails seemed less menacing. The secret: these small sequences add up into actual energy rather than just polite movement theater. I guided Alex through the full 10-move micro-routine once, like a short, kind-hearted drill sergeant, reminding him that speed is not the point, connection is. He followed along, breathing, moving, occasionally making dramatic facial punctuation that made me laugh quietly into my coffee. By the end, he was slightly flushed and oddly proud, the kind of pride normally reserved for finishing a complicated sandwich. I told Alex that micro-workouts win when they're tiny and repeatable, like brushing your teeth but less minty. Aim for a 3-5-minute burst every hour if you can, or at least once every 2 hours if your calendar is a tyrant. He promised to set an alarm, then immediately tried to hide that alarm in a folder named Not Urgent, which I appreciated as a bold strategy. Small, consistent movement beats heroic but rare workouts, and Alex agreed between 2 skeptical sips of coffee. We covered quick fixes for busy days. 2 breaths, a neck roll, and a single desk press can be a lifeline between meetings. Plus, Alex discovered that power poses work fine at the photocopier if you're feeling theatrical. He asked whether mime-style desk yoga was allowed in open-plan offices, and I pointed out that confidence is contagious. Use responsibly. The point? Even the smallest nod to movement helps reset focus and reduces stiff joint mutinies. For the grand finale, Alex gave a theatrical bow like a man who just discovered he could move without complaining, and I confess I teared up a little because mobility is emotional now, apparently. Behind the scenes, I was thinking maybe we should patent this routine as desk magic, but then I remembered patents are expensive, and the real joy is in seeing him reach the top shelf without dramatics. He offered to teach others, which I accepted with optimism, and one condition: no matching headbands. I wrapped up with practical reminders. Breathe before you move, keep your moves short, set little timers, and celebrate tiny wins. We nodded like conspirators planning a healthier coup against sedentary life. Alex promised to do the routine daily, and I promised to remind him at least once a day, which means consider me your slightly bossy mobility friend. If you try the routine, share your triumphs, your wobbliness, and especially any comedic noises you made during the cat-cow. We'll all relate.